Hello everyone, we have arrived. Welcome. I hope you're feeling superb, and if you're not, well, I'm glad that you made it to class. And I'm glad that you made it to class either way, because as we all know, it's the most challenging moment just before you get on your mat, right? Like that whole process of convincing yourself to do your practice, or that whole process of preparing and opening your time and space to do your practice, right? And then even before that, you might notice that you get resistance sometimes. So congratulations for making it here yet again. And we will explore some beautiful twistiness for the core today, some beautiful lengthening in the spine, and lots of stability through our foundation. You will want to have 2 blocks with you today. And we will start in a seated position. I'm going to read you a passage from this Jung book, Carl Jung, and this is The Undiscovered Self. So just coming into a comfortable seated position. Maybe you want to sit on one of your blocks or both of your blocks. Maybe you want to sit on a blanket. Just get nice and comfortable. You're just gathering yourself to being here and now. And of course, Carl Jung has lots and lots of amazing work. But this section is about self-knowledge, so this is just a tiny part of that. So settle in, your sit bones are balanced into the ground. Eyes are closed, just simply in a space ready to prepare to move the body. But first, we prepare the mind. Most people confuse self-knowledge with knowledge of their conscious ego personalities. Anyone who has any ego consciousness at all takes it for granted that he knows himself. But the ego knows only its own contents, not the unconscious and its contents. People measure their self-knowledge by what the average person in their social environment knows of himself, but not by the real psychic facts, which are, for the most part, hidden from them. In this respect, the psyche behaves like the body, of whose physiological and anatomical structure the average person knows very little too. Although he lives in it and with it, most of it is totally unknown to the layman, and special scientific knowledge is needed to acquaint consciousness with what is known of the body, not to speak of all that is not known, which also exists. What is commonly called self-knowledge is therefore a very limited knowledge, most of it dependent on social factors of what goes into the human psyche. Hence, one is always coming up against the prejudice that such and such a thing does not happen with us, or in our family, or among our friends and acquaintances. On the other hand, one meets with equally illusory assumptions about the alleged presence of qualities which merely serve to cover up the true facts of the case. And I'll stop with that. You can ponder through that as you move through class today, perhaps, if anything caught your heart. But the awareness of most of what many of us identify with is ego-based stuff. It is not of the unknown. It's only of what we assume to know about ourselves, which is generally attached, entrenched into the ego labels that we place on things, right? I'm a so-and-so, I'm a so-and-so, I've done blah, 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 whatever the thing is, right? Oftentimes people will associate that with who they are. Oh, I'm a yoga practitioner. Okay. That's something you do, that's something you practice, But what are you beyond that? Right? Beyond the label. What comes up? And that's what we're discovering in this passage, and that's of course what we move through every time we come to the mat, right? It's the conscious journey through the self to the self. Yoga. Essentially, it's union of being able to be present in the moment, right? It's union with that moment, and each moment is of divine creation. And just settling in with that, let's allow the hands to come onto the knees, eyes closed if that's comfortable. And start to draw circles, whatever direction you want, with the ribs around the hips. So this is a really great way to just check in with yourself, right? If you start going into a movement, right, and you're not sure what feels natural for you, you keep questioning it, well, that's a really good sign that you may need to do some more yoga, some more meditation, some more embodiment work to bring you into yourself. Because it's really simply just clearing the channel, clearing the pathway of communication between your body and mind, and recognizing that they're all connected all the time. And there are many pathways that you can make these connections. It's about being open in the mind, right? Because if we're not actually open in the mind, it's just like if we're using mantras or daily affirmations, reverse the direction of your circle when you're ready. But you know, if you're using daily affirmations or whatever it may be, and you really don't believe it, and you're just repeating it in your mind, but it's not something that you believe at all, well, then it's not gonna work because you're not speaking in a language that you actually receive well in the moment, right? If we don't have very much belief in ourselves for who we are, then when we're trying to build up our confidence, we need to meet ourselves where we're at. We can't just immediately say, oh, I am this wonderful, amazing creature who can do anything on this planet and who can create my own reality, or like whatever the most wild thing is you can think of. You know, if you start there, your ego is going to come up right against that and say, that's not true. No, you're not. Who do you think you are? All of those types of things. When you're ready, come all the way into stillness, coming in through center. We'll go back and forth. Chest pulls forward on the inhale. Tail pulls slightly back. Exhale around the spine. And continue. Seated cat-cow. So we need to meet ourselves where we're at, just like we meet ourselves in our physical asana practice. We, of course, do that on a psychological level as well, right? And we need to meet ourselves with where we're at emotionally. We may have had things happen to us as children, and psychologically, we're still operating from that 5-year-old self, 8-year-old self, 12-year-old self. So observe. Who do you think you are? How clear are your pathways to accessing what really works for you, what allows you to feel loved and supported, and what feels what we could perhaps categorize as good, even though we know that, well, you can't have the good without the bad, right? And all in all, it works together because it's all perception. What's good for one is bad for another, and so on. And that's with everything in life. When you're ready, come all the way into stillness, but pull your chest forward, 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 and gaze slightly upwards, allowing your throat to open. And then draw in through the navel to bring your spine back nice and neutral. Circle the arms around and up to the ceiling, and then bend the elbows to bring the hands just behind the head. You could have the fingers just touching toward the sides of the skull even, or if it's really uncomfortable, you could have your arms in a cactus if that's better for you. So just gently, if you've got your fingers on your head, just like edge the back of your skull slightly upwards so your chin pulls just a little bit down and your neck starts to feel super long and it feels awesome. And breathe in here. Contain through the core so your foundation's superb, and then just rotate to the left. Keep it easy. We're just using the abdominals to help us here. Come back to center and twist to the right. Keep the elbows wide and continue to go back and forth. So it doesn't matter how deep you go. Simply play in the strength that you have and notice what opens for you or what doesn't. Sometimes things feel closed off. Oh well. Work with what you got today. Breathe in and breathe out. Beautiful. A few more rounds. Stick with it. Keep your posture nice and tall. Elbows stay wide. Try not to give in and collapse, but instead stay open. Neck is long. Do one more twist to the right when you're ready. And then come back to center. Gently allow the arms to relax down. Bring your right hand just below your collarbone and gently pull that skin slightly downwards. Be gentle as you bring your right ear toward your right shoulder. You could stack your left hand on top or just relax your left hand down. We're stretching through the front of the neck. You could gaze slightly upwards here. You may feel this pull all the way up in toward your ears, or your left ear, I should say. And then bring your chin back neutral, coming all the way up through center. Switch. So bring your left hand just below your right collarbone so you can feel that you're pulling that flesh slightly downward as you draw the left ear to the left shoulder. So give yourself that beautiful sense of opening in the side of the neck and maybe all the way up toward the right ear. You could look slightly down, you could look slightly up. You can play with the spaces here. Beautiful. And then slowly just release. Right ear to right shoulder. Right hand can come onto the left side of the skull. Left fingers could reach out to the left if that feels good for you. And then gently looking down to the right armpit, switching the grip of the right hand, bringing it to the back of the skull. And then slowly release to come all the way up. And bring your left ear to the left shoulder. Left hand can come to the right side of the skull. Right fingers can reach out. Enjoy that lovely stretch. And then ease off with your grip. Look down to the left armpit. Bring the left hand to the back of the skull. And then nice and easy, release from there. Give the shoulders a few rolls. And then roll over your knees and shift into tabletop pose. Breathe in and breathe out, tuck your toes. Make sure you're nice and strong and long through those arms, and then float knees and hips up and back, downward dog. Feel your navel draw inwards as your arms squeeze into the midline. Shoulders feel strong. Hips pull away from armpits a little more as the belly draws in. Maybe you bend your knees or even walk the dog. Bend one knee and then the other. Lengthening the opposite leg. Just enjoy that little warm up. Beautiful. Come all the way into stillness, breathing in. And then breathing out, nice and easy. Knees come back down, tabletop pose. Beautiful. Breathe in here, come into a cow pose, dip the belly. And breathe out into a cat pose. Good, let's breathe into cow. And again into cat, exhale. And then into cow. As you inhale into cow, extend the right leg back. Reach those toes back. And then as you exhale, round the back, but bring the right knee in and step forward in a lunge. Left toes are tucked if you can, or untucked is obviously totally fine. So come all the way up with the upper body. You're nice and stable. You're in a short lunge. Hands reach forward and up. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Ribs are over the hips. On an exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. Rotate your chest. So now pay attention to that right leg, because the more you can push into that right foot, the more you can open up your chest to the right. Inhale, hands forward and up. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. Twist. Pay attention to your legs. Good. Inhale, right hand sweeps forward, fingers reach up. Exhale, twist. Stay in this twist. Bring your left hand down to the mat, below left shoulder. Right fingertips reach up to the ceiling. Contain your right hip. Breathe in. Breathe out. Beautiful. From here, your right foot picks up and steps all the way back behind you. Left knee lifts, plant the left foot, lift the hips as the right fingertips reach away. Open the heart here, stabilize through the shoulders and the hips. On an exhale, let your hips start to move toward the ground and then just pivot, left knee down, right hand down, right knee down. Table. Exhale into cat pose. Inhale into cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. When you're ready, inhale, come into cow. As you extend the left leg back, open your heart. And exhale, left knee pulls in as we arch the back in that cat pose, and left foot lunges forward. Stabilize through the legs. Allow the upper body to float up and reach the hands up. Shoulders away from ears, stabilize here. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your navel draw in. Your left leg is strong, your right knee is strong. Twist, right hand forward, left hand back. Stabilize through that left leg. Feel the inner resistance you can create. And then sweep left hand forward, both hands up. Breathing in, back to center. Exhale, twist, right hand forward, left hand back. Draw the navel in. Use your belly to help you rotate here. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist again. Right hand forward, left hand back. Twist, twist. And then gently right hand comes down to the mat, below right shoulder, left fingertips reach up. Nice and strong in the core. Left foot picks up and we step all the way behind ourselves. Plant the right foot, lift the hips, left hand reaches overhead and away. Breathe in and breathe out here, strong legs. And then let the hips start to lower and then just pivot, right knee down, left hand, left knee down. Cat-cow, 3 more rounds. Follow your breath. Good. When you're ready, just come all the way into your cat pose. And then next inhale as you come into cow, right toes extend back. Exhale, right knee pulls in, we move back to cat pose to bring right foot forward between the hands. You may want to have a block nearby for this, so just make sure it's easy to grab in case you choose to use it. You're on your fingertips, left toes tuck, knee lifts up. You're in a lunge. Breathe in. Stay in your lunge here. Feel the right thigh face downward and really get strong through that right side or left side quadricep. From here, your block, place it toward the top right corner of your mat-ish, so it's just to the upper right side of your right foot. And see if you can bring your left hand onto that block. Now you might need to bring it closer in. I need to bring mine closer in, so you do what you can do. And then see if you can bring your right hand toward your sacrum or the back of your hips and rotate while holding your balance through the legs. Rotate. Stay strong. Focus more on the legs than you do on the upper body. And then slowly, right hand comes down, left hand onto the mat. You can keep your block nearby. Lower the left knee down. Untuck the toes. Inhale, bring your upper body up. Hands sweep up. Exhale, palms to prayer in front of the heart. Rotate to the right. Left elbow outside right knee. And think of your thumbs aligning with your sternum as you rotate to the right. Finding the resistance outside your right knee, between that and the left elbow. Beautiful. And then nice and easy from there, turn back down to the mat. Left foot steps back and around, plant it down. Left foot plants, or right foot steps around, my apologies, hips lift, and we open the heart here again. So it's like a fun way to get into a wild thing variation. And then start to lower your hips so you can easily make your way back to table. Cat-cow. Notice the little spaces starting to warm up in the body. We're working Pavritta, Uttitah, Parsvokonasana today, so all of this warming up is certainly necessary. Next time you come into cow pose, extend the left toes back. Open your heart. And exhale, cat pose as the left knee pulls in and the foot comes forward between the hands. Placing the block toward the left of the front foot. Breathing in and breathing out. You're still in this short lunge. And then walk your right hand toward the block and on top. I have mine on my second height setting. You might want it higher. And remember, you might want to move it over too. Draw your belly in and open your chest to the left as you bring left hand to sacrum and rotate the chest. Tuck the right toes and float the right knee from here and see how it goes entering in from there. Contain the core. Breathe in and breathe out. And then slowly lower the right knee back down. Untuck the toes. Draw the fingers up to the ceiling. Neutral spine. Hands to the heart. Contain core. Rotate left. Right elbow outside right knee. Think of thumbs coming to sternum. Breathe in and breathe out. Gently release the hands. Bring your right hand back down. Maybe set that block aside. Left foot steps up and back behind. Right knee lifts to plant the foot down. Hips lift. Left hand reaches to the wall in front. Strong as you press into the heels. And on an exhale, let your hips start to lower so it's easy to bring your right knee, left hand, and left knee down. Cat-cow. Good. When you're ready, next time you come into cow pose, right toes extend back. Exhale, cat through the back and bring your right foot forward in a lunge. You may want to block nearby again for this. Fingertips are on the mat. Left knee floats up as you tuck the toes. Left heel drops down. Toes point out. You're in your warrior one position with the legs. So you can check your heel to heel alignment out. Maybe your left foot wants to step wider. That's totally fine too. Be in the place that works for you. Belly draws in. And then slowly squeezing through the legs, bring your upper body up and float the hands up. Now we're bringing the left hand forward and pulling back an imaginary bow with the right elbow as we rotate the chest to the right. Keep your back heel down. Maybe your right hand can come to your sacral bone and you can float the left fingers to the ceiling. This is not a back bend. This is to help you stay strong in the hips. It's more like a warrior one variation. And then left elbow pulls all the way outside that right knee. You may prefer to bring the hand to the block, placing it wherever you need. Maybe palms can come together in prayer, or maybe you keep your right hand on your sacral bone. See what feels better for you here, but you need to contain the right hip, so make sure that your right hip doesn't push out to the right. So check yourself out. Keep that hip behind the knee. And then nice and easy. Release the hands from prayer. Maybe set your block aside to plant the palms on the mat. Unhook your back heel. Walk the fingers forward. Come into standing split. Left toes reach up as we place weight in the right toes. Push your right foot down. Nice and long through the legs. Beautiful. From here, let the left knee start to bend, and bend it as you bring it behind the right knee,
and just let the toes come down to the mat. Lower the left knee down. Now bring your left hip down. You'll be facing the right long edge of your yoga mat, coming into Gomukhasana. So right leg is crossed over the left leg. Your left leg could be straight and strong. Okay? So I'll be facing away from you, but I know you know what to do. Gomukhasana. So enjoy this place. We're not folding forwards. We're deepening our twist. So facing over to the right now, so the back of your mat. Walk your hands over to the right. And notice if you can get your left elbow outside your right thigh or knee. Now you can choose to stay here in this twist for a few more breaths. If you'd like to add a little arm balance, you need to wiggle your feet in just a little so that you can press your hands down and lift your hips up. Hands are to the right. You could wiggle, wiggle, wiggle the feet until that outer right thigh rests on the elbows. And then you can float up. Try to keep Gomukhasana legs. And then you can come down nice and gently. Shimmy your way back to your Gomukhasana. Breathing in. And then breathing out, turn to face the top of your mat. Palms come down, hips lift up. We're in that narrow lunge. Left toes tuck, float the knee up. Excellent. Walk your right hand forward and maybe slightly out to the right. Left leg floats up, open the hips. Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. Left hand reaches up to the ceiling. Left hand comes down. Rotate the hips so left toes can touch down, lunge. Knee lowers down. Right knee comes back. Cat cow. Good. Next time you come into your cow, inhale that left leg up and back. Exhale, knee pulls in and to a lunge with the foot. Breathe in, breathe out. Tucking through the right toes, float the right knee, and then land the heel down. So you're finding your warrior one stance here. Stay nice and strong, and do take a moment to put some effort into your foundation because it makes the difference for everything else. Breathing in and out. When you're ready, stabilize, coming all the way up with both hands. And then on exhale, right hand forward, left elbow pulls back an imaginary bow as we rotate the chest to the left. Stabilize the legs, really flex through the right quadriceps. Right elbow, or remember you could be using a block, comes outside the left knee. Your hand could come down on a block, do what you need. Left hand can come onto the sacral bone, and you rotate here, finding that beautiful inner resistance. Palms could come to prayer. Remember to keep the left hip tucked in behind the left knee. So check yourself out. It takes a lot of effort and energy to get to that space. This is a huge twist. And then when you're ready, just nice and easy, let your fingers come forward and down on the mat. Unhook your back heel, weight comes into left foot, standing split. Right toes reach up to the ceiling. And then slowly start to bend the right knee as you pull it behind your left knee, and then reach the toes down to the mat. So now you're in this really narrow lunge. Right knee comes down. Shift your weight to the outer right hip and start to face the long edge of your yoga mat on the left. Coming into Gomukhasana here. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice and tall through the spine. Notice the spaces opening through the outer hips. And then moving into the twist. So starting to face over to the left side. You can bring your right elbow outside the left knee. And continuing to work a beautiful twist here. And then if you wanted to tap in to your side crane with Gomukhasana legs, you just gotta wiggle the feet in a little closer so you can more easily float the hips up. Adjust your hands, you want them about shoulder width apart. Help yourself with your feet so you can lift the hips to get that outer thigh onto the elbows, and then just see if you can get a little floating action. Breathing in and breathing out. And then slowly, if you are floating, lower yourself back down into your Gomukhasana. Awesome. Then turn to face the right. Bring your hands down, lift up through right hip, and you're back into that short little lunge. Right knee floats. Left hand walks ahead of the left foot, and then right foot floats up as we open and stack right hip on left. Right fingers reach up to the ceiling in our Ardha Chandrasana over here. Remember, you can have your left hand on a block. Find the place that feels easiest for you. And then slowly, right hand comes down, bend into left knee so you can gently land the right toes down and the right knee down. And come back table, and go back to cat-cow. Next time you come into cow, extend the right toes back. And then exhale. Lunge the right foot forward. Tuck the left toes. Upper body floats up. Hands float up. Left hand forward, right hand back. Right hand comes to the left heel. Left hand reaches back. Right knee reaches forward. Keep it stable over the ankle. Breathe in, breathe out. And then slowly come back forward, left hand on the mat, untuck your left toes, step your right foot around back, lift the hips as the left knee lifts. Another nice back bend here. And then slowly come back down to table. Inhale into cow, extending the left toes back. Exhale into cat as you lunge the left foot forward. Right toes tuck. Upper body floats up. Hands to the ceiling. Twist. Right hand forward, left hand back. And left hand can reach for the right heel as the left or right fingers reach behind. Left knee stays over the ankle. You might need to feel like that knee reaches forwards a little. Really beautiful conditioning for the whole body today. When you're ready, start to come all the way up with control. Untuck the right toes, right hand comes down. Left foot picks up and around. Plant the feet, lift the hips. Nice little variation of Wild Thing. And then nice and easy. Bring yourself back down to table. Open the knees as wide as the mat and find child's pose for a moment. Beautiful. Gently roll all the way up and then face the long edge of your mat. You may want to use a blanket. We're moving into our frog pose. So this is quite a big hip opener and it can put some pressure on the knees. So please be kind to yourself. Coming into table pose and then opening through the knees. Now as you get the knees wide, check in with your alignment. Get the inner edges of your feet on the mat. Ankles are below the knees, so the feet aren't coming in closer or going out wider. And then you can inch your knees, continuing to keep the ankles aligned. Now also, your knees need to align with your hips, so your hips aren't back and they're not forward for this. They're right in the middle. And just find your edge, find your edge. Let your elbows come down. Definitely check yourself out a few times. Make sure your alignment is superb. And then hang out here. Practice keeping your neck long and your throat open. Maybe you want to close through your eyes. Nice and easy, breathing in and out of the nose. No need for ujjayi, no need for any other breath other than what comes naturally for you, but do encourage it to move in and out of the nose. Breathe in and out. And then when you're ready, moving slowly, inch your body forward until you feel like you can easily relax and just gently wiggle and adjust your legs back to neutral. Take your time though, there's no rush here. I like to just walk my legs in nice and slow, and then once they're back at center, just relax. And when you're ready, slowly press up and back to child's pose. Allowing the hips to sink toward the heels, knees together or apart, whatever feels best for you right now. And then from there, just slowly turn yourself onto the mat on your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Make sure your neck feels nice and long here. Draw your right knee into your chest, give it a nice hug. Lengthen the left leg down. Easy Alpanasana here. Move into an easy twist, left hand outside, right knee pulls over and down to the left, right hand extends over to the right. And start to tap back into that space of who are you? Who are you behind the labels, behind the attachment of the ego? Who are you in the unknown? Slowly come back to center. Switch out the legs. Left knee pulls in and lengthen your right leg down. Left knee pulls over and down to the right when you're ready to come into your twist. Breathe in and out. And then come back all the way to center. Both knees hugging in. Make sure your neck feels long. Maybe a little rock side to side. And release to relax all the way into your Shavasana pose. Allowing the legs to lengthen, the arms to lengthen. Coming into a space where you feel like you can settle in for a minute. Just a minute to give yourself a moment to reflect on your practice. Reflect on the reading. Reflect on who you are. Observe the breath as it moves through your body. Feeling the slightly cooled temperature of the air as you inhale, and the warm breath as you exhale. Drawing a deep breath in when you're ready. And on the exhale, just rocking the head side to side. Eventually coming to stillness so that you can bend through the knees, planting the feet on the mat. And give yourself a hug as the knees pull into the chest. Maybe rock side to side here again. Eventually, roll to one side and press yourself up into a seated position with the opposite leg in front that you used at the beginning of class. And sitting tall with eyes closed. Let's flip the palms upward on the thighs. Bringing index finger and thumb together as we extend out through the other 3 fingers. Jnana Mudra. So this is connecting our individual selves with collective consciousness. That is to say that we are simply tuning in with the aspect of ourself that exists beyond the ego. And just breathe in and out here. Notice your breath, notice your mind. Come into a space of gratitude for your practice, for your amazing self, for your incredible body, for your open mind and open heart. Extend some thoughts and words of kindness to yourself. Allow your heart to receive that kindness and gently bring the palms to Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. Nice full breath all the way in and all the way out. Feel that beautiful sense of gratitude deep within your heart. And thank you for our practice today. Namaste. And I hope you feel wonderful and refreshed, just enough to build a tiny bit of heat and to send you off into the day with a bit of extra bounce in your step, perhaps. Sending y'all a whole lot of love. Thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't checked out the guides section yet, check out all those awesome workshops that are just waiting for you to dive in. I know people will be looking for ab work too, and there's a lot of classes in there that's ab specific. So if you want to do more of it, it's there. We got all kinds of stuff. So sending you love. Thank you again so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.